Hello and welcome. I hope that you are doing well. Thank you so much for joining me here today. It's the final week of October, and so let's talk about what I read last week. This month I have been focusing on spooky season reads, and I have read Cozy Autumn. I have read books set in autumn, thrillers, and horror. This last week I focused on scarier reads, or at least what I hoped would be scarier reads, starting with The Dead Girls of Hysteria Hall by Katie Alender. And I had previously read The Companion by this author back in December of 2020. I really liked it, and so I had high hopes for this book. Delia lives with her mom, her dad, and her younger sister, but she really doesn't feel understood by any of them or a part of their family very much. She kind of feels ignored and left out. Basically, she is dissatisfied with her life and she lets them know it. A few years ago for a class project, Delia wrote to her father's great aunt Cordelia, who Delia was named after. They had a correspondence going, but as Delia went further into her teen years, she kind of dropped the correspondence. Now she and her family have discovered that Cordelia has died, and she has left her entire estate to Delia. Aunt Cordelia wrote about her little writing room and how cozy it was and how she liked to spend all her time there. And it sounded so cozy and so wonderful that Delia's expectations for this house are very high. When they arrive, it is a huge house, but much of it is falling apart. And it's not really a house. It was the Piven Institute for the Care and Correction of Troubled Girls, a mental hospital that was built in the 1800s. It's creepy, and they all have an unsettled feeling from the house. Delia wants to leave. Her mother agrees that they should leave, but she wants to spend the night and plan to leave in the morning. And after some supernatural occurrences, Delia wants out right now. But she gets trapped in the house. And she learns that the house is full of the ghosts of those who have lived there. Young women who were troubled to varying degrees. Some did something violent. Others were headstrong and didn't agree with their family's ideas. When her mother and sister return, she has seen how what happened to her has changed them, and especially her sister, and she is determined to keep her sister from her fate. The Dead Girls of Hysteria Hall is well written. The characters are realistic and they're relatable. There's even a bit of a mystery that will keep you guessing. I also mentioned at the end of my previous video that I was going to read Graveyard Shift by M.L. Rio, who was also the author of If We Were Villains. And this is a very short work. It's a novella. It's like 108 pages, I think. And it focuses on 5 people who work the late shift at various different entities. They meet in the cemetery for their break at the same time every night. It's an old cemetery in which no one has been buried for years. But on one specific night, there's a freshly dug grave. And it gets the 5 of them wondering who dug it and why. Before they head back to work, the grave digger reappears. They each play a part in finding the grave digger and discover themselves along the way. Graveyard Shift is short, like I said, so it ends quickly, and maybe a little too quickly. The premise is intriguing, the characters are interesting, and I enjoyed their backstories. The writing is every bit as good as the writing in If We Were Villains. I will forewarn you that the ending falls a little flat. So if you read the book with that understanding, you can avoid disappointment when you get there. If you're looking for a quick autumn read that will give you some creepy vibes, you might want to try this one. So I also had time to read Cackle by Rachel Harrison, and look at this cover. Doesn't it just scream spooky season? It's a fantasy book in which Annie, the main character, is looking to make some changes after her boyfriend left her. Annie does all the things that women are known for doing after a breakup. She decides to make huge changes in her life. So she moves out of the city and into a cozy village. She quits her job and gets a new job as a teacher. And she decides she's going to change who she is. In the village, she meets Sophie, and Sophie is everything Annie wants to be. She's sophisticated, she's elegant. She's pulled together in a way Annie could never hope to be. Sophie takes an interest in Annie and becomes her friend and mentor. Annie is amazed by how friendly everyone is to her and Sophie. As time goes on, she begins to wonder why everyone is being so nice, and she discovers another side of Sophie, and it might cause her to rethink their friendship. Cackle is characterized as horror, but it's more like a witchy fantasy. It definitely has creepy vibes, Sophie's woods and Annie's spider problem, but it's a mostly cozy read. And this is a quick read, so if you're looking for something to get you in the Halloween mood for the rest of the week, it's the perfect choice. What are some other books to read for spooky season or after spooky season if you want to continue the spooky reads into November? So if you're looking for something in the YA area, I would suggest The Haunting by Natasha Preston. Halloween was always Penny's favorite holiday. The community she lives in went all out for it. Until last year when there was a murder. This year they're back to their old traditions and Penny couldn't be more excited. Until she goes Halloween costume shopping and discovers a murder instead. And the horror continues. The community is quick to place the blame on the son and daughter of the person that was held responsible the previous year. But as the horror continues, Penny is not so sure that they are responsible after all. For a historical read, try The Perfect Place to Die by Bryce, and it takes you back to the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago and the murders that occurred there. And if you're looking for a very quick YA read that you can read on Halloween evening, try one of R.L. Stein's books. I've got Halloween Night and The Mind Reader. I preferred this one a little more, but this one was good too. For adult fiction, I'm going to mention a couple that I do not have here with me, but they're so good I just have to talk about them. First is a historical fiction book that includes vampires. And I'm going to suggest The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. So this book incorporates vampires, but it's got a lot of Eastern European history, especially dealing with Romania. I really enjoyed it and recommend it. And the other book I'm going to recommend is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. That one was here when I started writing about it today, but it's since been checked out. It's a story of women who become vampires over the centuries, from Spain in 1532 to London in 1827 and Boston in 2019. If you like dark, moody, feminist fantasy, I suggest you read it. And there we are. Thank you so much for joining me today and throughout our spooky season. I hope that you enjoyed talking about our reads this month. If you'd like to share your spooky season recommendations in the comments below, I'd love to see them. I'm always looking for a great read. I'll return early next month with my November reads. Can you believe we're already talking about November? So until then, I hope that you enjoy all that you do and all that you read. And thank you.